Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen is said to be number 1. A bold claim, to say the least. After all, there's only been a handful of number 1s in the history of forever, but I'm here to prove that the Smitty propaganda is built on a foundation of lies and sand rather than cold, hard evidence. And to do so, we simply have to look at the facts, starting with fact number 1. Smitty's gravestone never properly notated his name. We know that his last name is spelled as one word, and you'd expect that a true number 1 person would at least have a grave that spells their name correctly. Ridiculous. Fact number 2. The main evidence that Smitty was number 1 is the number 1 depicted on his soda drinking hat, but it's later revealed that there's an entire warehouse full of such hats, meaning him having that hat in no way proved his true merit. This also implies he was trying to manufacture an image of high status. Fact number 3. In a SpongeBob comic from 2017, we see that Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen ran a 6-volume book series on the story of his life titled The Incredibly Long and Uninteresting Life of Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen. Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen was apparently so obsessed with his own legacy that he produced a 6-volume autobiography, undeniably a Squidward level of self-absorbed. Fact number 4, we already have an undisputed number 1. SpongeBob SquarePants himself. This dude has won TV contests, karate contests. Heck, he has an entire closet just to hold his hundreds of trophies. With the sole exceptions of driving boats and cooking things other than Krabby Patties, literally anything SpongeBob sets out to do, he outperforms his peers 10-1, making him the obvious number 1, despite him being too humble to declare it as loudly as Squidward, Plankton, or Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen would. And now chapter 2, Reasonable Inferences. Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen was oddly quiet when it came to what specifically he was number 1 at. But if we create a picture for his life, we'll probably be able to piece it together. And to paint such a picture, let's go through each of his known traits. Trait number 1, Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen speaks in a young man's voice.
Hey man, that's my hat. Give it back.
We can infer this means that he died at a young age. Trait number 2, Werbenjägermanjensen is a name of predominantly Germanic and Scandinavian roots, with Werben being German for advertising, Jäger being German for hunter, man also meaning man, and Jensen being a strongly Danish or Norwegian name meaning son of Jens, a common Scandinavian variation of the name John in Denmark and Norway. This means Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen's roots are a bit complicated, especially when considering his first name is a nickname for the common surname Smith, suggesting a mixed background based in Northern Europe. Trait number 3, the grave doesn't mention a specific birth or death date, but we can infer he was an adult past the point of when soda drinking hats were invented. And while the oldest known usage of such hats dates back to the 1930s, the popular dual straw, dual can design he used was first released in 1985 and patented in 1988. And given the fact the one he was using was the modern mass-produced hat design, he almost certainly was using one made during or after 1985. And with our other dating bookend being the release year of this episode in 2002, this means he died between 1985 and 2002 without a doubt. 1985 to 2002 is a bit of a broad range, but if we tried to narrow it down a bit, the fact that he was completely decomposed but still had a couple bugs crawling on him implies that he died a little while ago, but not forever ago. Pair this with the fact that the remnants of a red shirt he was wearing haven't completely faded, and I think that the year of his death would loosely be between 1995 and 1998. Trait number 4. He likely wore the soda hat quite often, given how easily his neck bone broke when Mr. Krabs grabbed the hat. Studies have found an association between drinking lots of soda and lower bone mineral density, leading to easier breaks. The hat wasn't a last-minute gimmick of his life. He had been wearing that hat for a good while. Additionally, if we look at his autobiography cover, he looks rather overweight, which again supports the idea of high soda consumption. Trait number 5. Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen is quite squeamish and doesn't support cannibalism.
Then you eat my brain and leave my body for the buzzards!
That's disgusting.
Trait number 6. Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen does indeed have some degree of influence, considering he commanded other grave people to fight Mr. Krabs, meaning he probably was legitimately a high-ranking person in life who just couldn't quite become number 1 despite swearing to do so. Put all these traits together and the closest image we can recompose is of a man dying between ages 15 and 35, who was of German Scandinavian background, died in the 1990s, was morbidly obese, drank sodas by the hatful, and was a published author. Considering he's undead, we can technically assign him a current residence too, with that being Floater Cemetery.
He's buried out in Floater Cemetery.
He wore glasses, warm-colored t-shirts, and generally maintained a pessimistic attitude, since every known depiction of him has shown him actively frowning rather than maintaining a neutral expression. This all paints a clear picture. Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen was number 1 in his own story where he was the protagonist, a story likely similar to Diary of a Wimpy Kid since the title on the surface makes him appear to be a loser. In the same way Squidward's hopes and dreams of being an accomplished artist were buried, Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen's dreams of becoming number 1 followed him to the grave as well. Now that's not to say he was a loser. The gap between people like us and Smitty is bigger than the gap between Smitty and the number 1 spot. Bro has appeared in Minecraft, Little Big Planet 3, Titans of the Tide, the Patrick Star game. Heck, he's currently involved in a collaboration with One Piece. Whether we're talking gaming, anime, comics, or TV shows, Smitty absolutely mogs us and is more recognizable than all of us combined, making him paradoxically number 1 in the hearts of many, but a fading joke in the minds of few. That is, if Monty P. Moneybags didn't make him immortal. Did we ever just stop and ask, how is Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen still alive? He's in a grave. But remember that eccentric art collector Monty P. Moneybags? Yeah, he slipped up and accidentally revealed his necromancy powers when talking to Squidward.
I am gonna make you immortal!
Not only that, but notice how casual Monty is about Squidward losing the head of the statue. Why would anyone assume that to be an easy, fast task, the idea of reattaching a head? It's because Monty P. Moneybags is a necromancer, and Smitty Werbenjägermanjensen was never number 1. Case closed.